Hi, welcome to wesleygospel.com. Today I'm going to talk about uh, why it is so hard to find a job right now. It is November 2023, and this is going to be on the series Biblical Economics that I do. Um, and what are you supposed to do about this? Well, immediately you're supposed to pray for God's help and His providence. But in a more practical, earthly, natural sense, you should increase, dramatically increase the amount of application and outreach that you had been doing before in previous times. Um, so I'll get into that. I did do a video on this a little while ago, but I'm just gonna kind of riff on this with a fresh perspective and see where it leads. So we are clearly living in a recession of some type, and we've got to understand that whether or not people want to admit when these things happen is completely beside the point. The reality is that when the experience comes, that determines the reality of the situation. Much like seeing a vision. If a person sees a vision, they had the experience. Nobody can take that away from them. Okay? They had that vision. They saw it. And others can be skeptical. They can say, no, you didn't. No, it was just your brain. No, it was just your mind playing tricks on you. You didn't really see a vision. Vision didn't really happen because, after all, you were there and I wasn't. Um, and I think the same phenomenon kind of happens when recessions happen. Um, there's people who are suffering more from the recession, and then there are others who are not suffering from the recession at all because their jobs are still intact. And it's those people who have their jobs still intact that are the naysayers. They're the ones who say, "Oh, I don't believe the media. I don't, they just try to, make people afraid, whatever." And they plug their ears and they close their eyes, and they don't want to admit that there is economic um, depression going on. And then they want to wait for some sort of official pronouncement from a uh, you know revered economist to confirm it or something. Because after all, if the revered economist says it, that makes it true. No, the reality is that um, experience determines the truth. Um, and when people are experiencing job losses and can't find another job, and a lot of people are experiencing that thing. This is not a mass hallucination, okay? This is a mass recession, okay? A recession. And whether or not that word's being used by some sort of respected economist from some Ivy League school, that it doesn't matter. It's the experience that determines the reality. And um, now in the tech industry, hundreds of thousands of people, computer programmers, salespeople, HR reps in the tech industry, in the software industry, hundreds of thousands of them in the past 6 months have been laid off. Uh, but that's not just the tech industry. It's just that that particular industry has been hit the most. Uh, and I'm in that industry. So, um, Time Magazine put out an article uh, on June the 14th, 2023, and that article was written by Alana Samuels, and it was called "You're Not Imagining It, Job Hunting is Getting Worse." And then she goes on, she explains how uh, people can apply to hundreds of jobs and not get any offers. People um, are getting ghosted by interviewers. People um, are having to do one-way video interviews. So I mean, they're not even getting actually interviewed by a person, filling out extensive assessments. And so it just wears people down. They can't get anywhere. And, I landed a job a couple of months ago, and it's a good one. But I'm not going to lie to you here. In order to find this job, this is what I had to do. And I have a bachelor's degree and 10 years of sales experience in the tech industry. Okay? But this is what I had to do in order to get this job. If I can just pull this thing up. I got a program called Lazy Apply. And I believe that this would probably more be useful to people in the tech industry, helping them find jobs because they're the ones that are hurting the most right now. LazyApply.com, Lazy Apply, LazyApply.com. And I had to apply to 11,000 jobs with this program to find the job that I have. 11,000 jobs, okay, to find this job. And I did. It took a month or so, but I got it. Now, Lazy Apply is an incredible program, and uh, so you mainly want to focus on using Indeed through Lazy Apply, and then second to that, LinkedIn through Lazy Apply. It says that it can use other things like ZipRecruiter and Career Builder, but it still hasn't been built out yet. But this is an application bot. You might be familiar with the Easily Apply and the Easy Apply features on Indeed and LinkedIn. Well, what Lazy Apply does is it takes advantage of that and only applies to those. It takes a pre-written template resume that you put together, and it will auto apply in mass for you. You just turn the thing on and you walk away from your computer system. It's really best to do it when you go to bed. If you turn the thing on when you go to bed, you wake up and you just applied to 300 job opportunities. And then of course you're going to want to go into your email inbox the next day and clean out the clutter. But because there's going to be, hundreds of bold emails of notifications saying that you applied to jobs. So you're going to want to clean those out and wait for those genuine opportunities for interview requests. At this point, I would highly recommend getting a Calendly, Calendly, a Calendly account. This is like $10 a month. And then when you get interview requests into your email, you can give them a Calendly link, and then it's just a lot easier to be able to facilitate Google Meet interviews that way. Now, this is for, just not being unemployed. This is to help people that are in a crisis situation get back on their feet again and just not be unemployed. So they have remote on here, and as well as, if you don't want to just be remote on here. And it's a lifesaver, man, especially for people in the tech industry right now. It's a complete lifesaver. And but this is only for, generally speaking, it's only going to be for W-2 jobs. So be fully willing and prepared to be full-time employed with these, and be willing to, come into 3 and 5 meetings a week if necessary with these jobs. So these are not side hustle jobs. Now, I'm aware that there appears to be side hustle jobs on here, like 1099s and part-times, but I haven't been able to land any. So that's why I'm going to talk about the next thing. I'm going to talk about something very, very technical. So please try to pay close attention. If you get a 2G Suite accounts, and if you get 2 GMass accounts for each of those G Suite accounts, now you are in a situation almost where you're almost ready to start sending out mass cold email blasts to employers for part-time jobs on the side. Uh, Now, before you do that, you need to go on Fiverr, fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and you need to get a person to connect Contabo uh, up to your GMass. There are 3 people on Fiverr that I've located that do this. The best one is named Sadat, S-A-D-A-T. Second one is Rabbanur, R-A-B-B-A-N-U-R. And the third is email zone, email_zone. And what these people will do is they will connect Contabo, C-O-N-T-A-B-O, up to GMass. And give them a 10 days or so to be able to do this. This is a very technical activity, but once they do it, believe me, it'll pay off for you in the end. Because what Contabo does, Contabo is an SMTP server, and it will enable you to send 1,000 emails a day, cold emails, 1,000 emails a day through each of your GMasses. So if you have 2 of them, you can send out a total of 2,000 emails a day. And that means that you can send 10,000 emails in 1 week between the 2 of them. And I have verified this with the Contabo VPS L version. You have to get the L version to be able to do this. So don't try to go cheapy on your Contabo selections. When it comes to choosing the VPS of the Contabo, don't buy the cheap version. You get what you pay for. Get the L version. It's $23 per, so that'll be $46 for 2 of them, and that's a high capacity SMTP server. And yeah, man, you'll be able to send out 10,000 emails between the 2 of them in 1 week. I got 3 interviews off those 10,000 emails, which is a really bad hit rate. In normal economic times, I would have gotten like 10 or 15, but but I did truly get 3 interviews this week as a result of me sending out 10,000 emails. Now you might say that's insane. Yes, it is insane, but it's just as insane as me getting a job from 11,000 applications on Lazy Apply. It says in 2 Timothy 2:6, the hard-working farmer ought to be the first to receive the share of his crops. This is a hard-working farmer situation. All right, we're talking about 10,000 applications on Lazy Apply and 20 or 30 or 40,000 emails being sent out through GMass. Okay, this is serious stuff, dude. And if you're in the tech industry, you know this is serious. So you really have to go the extra mile, and not just go the extra mile. You have to really go like a lot of extra miles to find this work right now. We are in a famine right now. And Jesus said in Luke 21:11, there will be earthquakes and in various places famines and pestilences, and there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I've had bronchitis. We've had difficulties finding jobs, right? Famines and pestilences. Matthew 24:7, nation will rise against nation. Once again, we're having problems with Russia. We're having problems with the Middle East. Of course, these things happen in cycles. Of course, I'm not saying it's the end times. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. Matthew 24:7. Genesis 12:10. There was famine in the land. There was a famine in the land. So Abraham went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. You know, sometimes you have to move to find better jobs because the famine has come, right? And if you're a remote worker, moving, quote unquote, is lazy apply in GMAS. I'm convinced of that. You have to hit it on both fronts. You have to really, really cover a lot of ground. It's not easy, dude. I know it's hard. These times are hard, but at the same time, this is the way the world is. We have to understand that. And we have to put our ultimate hope, faith, and trust in God and in His providence. We can do our part naturalistically. We can do our part, you know, lazy apply and GMAS. We can do all that. But then comes God's part. He has to do the providence thing. He has to be the one to open up the doors. Famines can be really scary. What is a famine? Well, from a hardworking farmer's point of view, it means that all of the soil has dried up. There's no rain, so therefore you can't make money. The soil's dried up, it's cracked and dry. And therefore you can't make money because you can't plant the seeds, you can't grow the plants, you can't grow the crops. Everything is dried up. Uh, so go on Google sometime and type in famine soil, okay, and look up the images, and you're going to see these in this drought and parched soil, these giant cracks in the soil, and that's what's going on right now in the job market. It's going on right now in the job market, especially with the tech. And you know what? It's going to be over eventually. Hang in there. Famines don't last forever, but famines do happen. They do happen. We have to admit that. And then when they happen, we have to either A, move down to Egypt to find work, or B, move down to Egypt to find work. What does move down to Egypt to find work mean to you? If you're a remote worker, you're going to have to change, you're going to have to move the way you apply for work. You're going to have to change it. And I've found that if you're a remote worker, Lazy Apply and GMAS Contabo VPSL is the way to do it. If there's better ways out there, please email me about it. I'd like to hear. God bless you out there. This is John with WesleyGospel.com.